Good evening, everybody. We are gonna get into some Friendsim right now. We're going to have Remel, Remele, Remel, and Conil. I think we're going to start with I should really determine how I'm gonna pronounce this. Remil? Yeah, let's go with Remil. Yeah. Hi, Quintus. Okay. So we're going to go with Ramil first and then Conil. Conil? Conil. Conil. Conil? I guess we'll worry about that when we get to it. So for now, we're going to go with Ramil. And we'll see how this plays out. You've wandered into a part of town that seems to have some culture going on. There are a lot of bright neon lights, and you can't read what the signs say, but you can see arcades, a performance space, and what looks like a movie theater, perhaps more indie-oriented compared to the mall cinemas you've seen before. As you continue wandering, you come across a trendy-looking building with a placard outside that shows a little cartoon doodle of a fancy waiter holding out trays of snacks. You can't read what the words say, but you recognize the intergalactic signal for free food inside. Come on in. You head inside, and it appears to be an art gallery. It must be opening tonight because there are festive decorations up and a little table offering drinks and hors d'oeuvres. There are many other art appreciators here, and your adrenaline spikes when you realize that most of the trolls milling around are purple bloods. You're not sure if some paintings and snacks are worth the high chances of being maimed with when chaotic violence breaks out, but as you've debated the merits of free food versus probable injury, someone approaches you. You don't look like my other patrons. Are you lost? Or are you perhaps looking to start collecting? If you're loaded, ignore the first question. Art is for everyone, after all, regardless of your blood color. The 4 black pupils in her eye glint and sparkle, and you're not sure yet if it's menacing or friendly sparkle. She grins at you, and it shows all of her teeth. So what do you think of the art? Have any paintings caught your eye? You look around. You don't know much about art, but you are a nerd, and a lot of the paintings in here remind you of scenes from popular movies and games back home. The artwork is stunning, perhaps the best I've ever seen. Troll Mona Lisa who? Haha, stop, you flatterer. She puts a hand on her hip and winks at you, and you're guessing here that she doesn't actually want you to stop. You're also making the connection that she must be the artist who painted all of these. You sense an opportunity for friendship, so you lay it on thick and gush about how talented she is. I thought you looked like a dumbass when you walked in, but you have good taste after all. Let me show you around. You follow Ramil through the gallery, swinging by the table of free food first. It's pretty good by the standards you've come to expect on Alternia, but what you thought was wine at first glance is actually Fago. No thanks. You may have noticed some themes in my exhibited work. I don't love clowns or gore as much as it may seem. That's just what I have for sale here. If you look at my work online, you'll see more of the full range of my art. But for this fancy gallery shit, Purple Bloods are some of my best customers. These clowns fucking love art. They're as rich as fuck, and they'll buy anything as long as it's violent enough or features religious themes. You've seen the kind of destruction and mayhem that Purple Bloods are capable of, so you're surprised that she doesn't seem to mind being in a crowded gallery with so many of them. Most other trolls you've interacted with have done their best to steer clear of the clown murder cult guys, at least when one of those hate-romance relationships isn't on the table. Isn't it kind of dangerous to actively court them for her audience? Oh sure, They can be unpredictable, and keeping them happy requires some schmoozing. Occasionally, I have to pretend like I've drunken the Fago and pull some religious references out of my ass. But it's nothing I can't handle. You can make a lot more money as an artiste if you're not choosy about what you draw. One of my customers is this blue-blood moron who only ever commissions me to draw low bloods in quadrants with other low bloods. I've got him convinced I'm giving him a deal on his rate when he's actually paying 5 times what I charge anyone else. Ha ha! My point is, artistic integrity is for chumps. If you want to get ahead in this world, give the people what they want first. That strikes you as a depressing outlook on the creative process, but you're aware by now that idealism on Alternia tends to lead to shorter lifespans. And you have to admit, looking around at the crowd in this gallery, that her cynical approach seems to be working. You tell her that she sounds pretty business savvy in addition to talented, and she winks at you again. Thanks, I know. Because I make bank doing shit like this, I'm able to fund my passion projects. You should really check out my webcomic. But before you can find out what her webcomic is about, she notices another troll that has been sidling up to you. As she approaches, she whips out what looks like a small recording device with a smile. Ramil's face goes carefully blank and she crosses her arms over her chest. And how can I help you? Ah yes, hello there, Miss Namak. I'm with Alternia Nightly, and I must say, it looks like your first ever gallery exhibit has been a smashing success so far. The journalist's syrupy tone and innocuous words don't seem threatening to you, but you're picking up on some tense vibes from Ramil, whose hair ribbon swings forward in front of her face aggressively. Of course it's a success. I never expected otherwise. Maybe not. But some in the art world have expressed surprise at the timing of this. Some have called it bold, considering you're currently in the middle of a plagiarism controversy. Would you care to comment on the case against you by Trident Media? Trident Media? Medea. Instead of being caught off guard by the question sprung on her, Ramil relaxes and laughs. Oh, that. Pfft. As if they have any kind of real evidence that I'm violating their precious intellectual property. All the characters I draw and profit from are entirely original, and Trident Media and their legislacerator are just mad about it because the whole internet knows that my storylines are better than the source material. Oops, I mean, better than unrelated creative works that my comics happen to bear a superficial resemblance to. Feel free to quote me on that. The reporter makes the quote and scuttles away. Ramil seems unbothered, but you can't help but feel concerned for her. Copyright infringement is serious business. Is your new friend in legal hot water? Nah, Alternia barely has any copyright protections to speak of. It's just that little pest Gorjek trying to stir up some shit as usual. The company behind his lawsuit wouldn't even care if he hadn't gotten involved. It's no big deal. Nothing I can't handle. You go back to following her around the gallery, keeping your distance whenever a purple blood comes up to compliment her on her work. You can tell that despite her confident attitude, Ramil is still thinking about that journalist. She taps her foot and frowns at the paintings whenever there's a lull in the conversation, throwing glances at the door that the journalist just left through. You know, it's not like Alternia has a free press or credible newspapers. That reporter was probably hired by someone with a grudge to dig up dirt on me. I don't think it was Gorjek, actually. Too obvious. Amateurish. No, this stinks of my competizione. The artistic establishment thinks that all I do is fan art and shouldn't be taken seriously as an artist. All of their paintings are in the museum across the street, and they hate that I've managed to put up my own exhibit. These stuck-up, pretentious bulge scrubs have been trying to sabotage me for so long. She turns to you, her hands balled up into fists, and the X in her eye flashing with passion. I've been waiting for the opportunity to strike back at them. If everyone's going to accuse me of being a thief and a hack anyway, I might as well steal from them for real. But their security is tight, and I haven't had an accomplice. Until now. What do you say? Do you want to help me pull off a risky art heist? Ooh. Can I pick all three at the same time? That would be great. Ramil does one last round in her exhibit, saying goodbye to her patrons and grabbing her bag, which seems to be mostly art supplies, as you head out the door and into the street. The museum that she wants to rob is at the end of the block in a much bigger, fancier building than the one you just walked out of. All the lights are off inside, and it doesn't have any signs of advertising current exhibits. We can do this one of two ways. Follow that journalist and steal the keys if he has them, she has them, or break in without them. Oh yeah, we're gonna get those keys. You know we're gonna get those keys. You would much rather walk through an unlocked door than try and bust it down, and the reporter is still in sight, turning a corner down the street. You try to imitate Ramil's casual yet confident way of walking, like she could blend in anywhere and pull off anything. But despite your efforts to not attract suspicion, you keep getting looks. Not being the same species as everyone around you tends to make you stand out. Shit, this could be a problem. I can put together a disguise for you, hang on. You watch as she starts pulling things from her bag. She seems to have all sorts of things in there, from paintbrushes to blobs of clay to paint, and you think she might be putting together some fake horns for you from scratch real quick? But before she can finish, you realize that one of the purple bloods about to walk into Ramil's gallery is staring at you. He looks vaguely familiar, and you realize a little too late where you've met him before when he starts walking towards you. I remember you. You broke into my apartment. It's the same troll that you and Polypa escaped from. You back away as he advances, a lazy grin on his face. Ramil glances from him to you and back to him again. Well, fuck. Looks like I'm not going to have an accomplice after all. Sorry, pal. She hoists her bag over her shoulder and shrugs her hands in a what can you do gesture. Then she's gone, the big purple blood paying her no mind as she absconds. You want to feel betrayed, but it's hard to blame her considering how scary this guy is. In your heart, you know that you're dead already, but you're not going to accept your fate without attempting to prevent it. You make a mad dash to escape, sprinting towards a skinny hallway, and thinking that maybe you can scamper up a fire escape or something. Unfortunately, your attacker's size doesn't seem to slow him down, and you can hear his heavy footfalls right behind you. He laughs, and it somehow sounds dopey and dumb and completely terrifying at the same time. You make it to the alley, but you fucked up because it's a dead end and you don't see anything you could use to clamber to high enough ground. You turn to face him, hopelessness sinking down to your toes. Your scrappy alien tenure on this hazardous new planet is about to come to a messy end. The purple blood swings his massive club lazily in one hand as he approaches you, not bothering to run anymore. You drop into a fighting crouch, trying to think back to your third grade karate lessons for any moves that might be useful. But before he can crush your skull, you see a flash of movement behind him. He staggers, dropping the club as something hits him from behind. As much as I appreciate inspiring my fans, I'm gonna have to ask you not to interpret my art so literally, as in, no murdering. Ramil springs off the troll's back after clawing him and rolls to the side, avoiding his swinging fist. She grabs for his club, which is almost as long as she is tall, but before she can use it, his next blow catches her below the ribcage, sending her flying across the alley and into a brick wall. She's on her feet again fast, but you can tell that she's injured, and now she doesn't have the element of surprise on her side. The purple blood turns his back to you as he closes in on Ramil, laughing again. You can't let him kill her, not when she came back for you, but you have no idea how you can help here. Your eyes land on Ramil's bag, tossed to the side in the melee. In the desperation, you grab a loose paintbrush that rolled out of it. You dive forward with a battle cry and stab the end of the paintbrush deep into the high blood's calf. Violet blood squirts you in the face. He yells and you manage to roll away just in time to avoid getting smacked. The slight stab wound hasn't slowed him down much, but it's given Ramil a chance to dive out of his range. While he's still trying to grab you, she gets a hold of his club again. She's stronger than she looks, strong enough to get a good wind-up with that thing, and when he turns toward her, she brings it down hard onto his skull. Ooh. Yikes. It takes a few more good smashes before the troll finally stops groaning and twitching. Ramil breathes heavily, wiping blood splatter off her forehead. She looks up, meeting your eyes. You are absolutely positive that this is the most dramatic way you could have ever been rescued. You can't believe she came back and risked her life for you. Pfft, don't mention it. I needed an accomplice, right? She drops the club and staggers over to you, pausing to spit out cerulean blood. You remember that she took some damage and hurried to support her, offering her your weak human arm to lean on. Is she going to be okay? I'll be fine. Ceruleans are tough to cull, even for a wannabe subjugulator. She tilts her head, looking down at the way her blood swirls with the larger quantities of purple blood pooling on the asphalt. Huh, that's actually not bad as an artistic medium. The colors and textures work well together. Maybe that blue blood kid from Chitter is onto something. Anyway, thanks for having my back with that paintbrush. That took some quick thinking. We make an okay team. I've never killed anyone before, but that kind of ruled, didn't it? You're not sure that you would choose those exact words, but you're pretty relieved right now. You might not have the bloodthirsty glint in your eyes that Ramil does, but maybe you can interpret your adrenaline shakes as euphoric overload or something. Hell yeah, me too. I can see why people get into this killing business. If I wasn't such a great artiste, I'd consider switching careers. But sometimes when you're good at too many things, you have to pick one and stick to it. So no professional assassinations for me. I'm still determined to rob the shit out of my competitors, though. And you... Well, now that we've killed someone together, it just makes sense for us to stay partners in crime, right? Your heart leaps at the implication that she wants to stick together. You truly do not mind breaking every law in the books if it means she'll be your friend. Nice. We probably don't need to go around breaking every law. I just want to steal some art. But maybe we can reschedule the heist for another day. This neighborhood will be crawling with drones as soon as they realize a high blood was killed. You feel bad that this troll attempting to slaughter you ruined Ramil's gallery opening. Oh, are you kidding me? My customer base loves this kind of shit. My art will get even more of a violent reputation when the word gets out that someone died at my first gallery show. That's metal as fuck. You limp out of the alley, supporting Ramil with your arm around her waist, and she directs you to the back entrance of her gallery, where the two of you clean off the blood and hide until the drones and the crowds are gone. If you don't mind, you can lie low at my place for a few days while we plan this heist. And I might as well get some work done while we wait and scheme. That fight was pretty inspiring. You're already my accomplice, so how would you feel about also being... my muse? Oh hey, we got the good ending on the very first try. I find Ramil to be a very interesting character too. She's interesting to say the least. Her route only has 3 endings, right? I don't know. But we're gonna find out. So let's start this over and see how fast we can get to the other ones. It seems kind of derivative. Pfft, you clearly know nothing about art, plebe. If you don't like it, there's the door. Make room for someone with money to burn and better taste. Okay, well, that was quick. I guess we just got one more to do now. I don't think she's necessarily bad or evil. She's just looking out for herself, if that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, Alternia is a pretty rough place, so, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive. Okay, now we bust down the door. A heist sounds risky enough without spending extra time trying to pickpocket some keys. You suggest that if this crime is not going to happen tonight, it should happen to... Bleh. You suggest that if this crime is going to happen tonight, it should happen now. No time like the present. Good point. Let's go break into a museum. You scoot casually across the street to the museum on the corner. After seeing the kind of looks your usual appearance draws from passersby, Ramil takes some fabric from her bag and wraps it around your head. There. Now people will probably just assume that you have horns. You're just embarrassed by them being tiny or malformed. Duck into that alcove shielding the museum's back door and wait for me. I'm going to circle the block first, just so he's seen less suspicious. As you wait for Ramil by the door, the reality of this caper settles in. You'd been excited about the heist at first, because who wouldn't want to be excited? Who wouldn't be excited? Man, I'm really having a hard time reading tonight, I guess. Who wouldn't be excited by the opportunity to sneak around, steal some art, and stick it to the man, probably while a snazzy soundtrack played? But now you realize that in the heist movies they always have blueprints for the place they're gonna rob, and you have no blueprints. It seems like a dire sign. Before you can get too swept up in your worries, Ramil returns. Does she have any idea how to get into this place? Because the door looks pretty unbust-downable to you. Yeah, I've got some tricks up my sleeve. I've never done this before, but it'll probably work. She roots through her bag until she comes out with several paintbrushes of varying size, then crouches down and uses the skinniest one as a lockpick. It doesn't work, but then she selects different paintbrush with different bristles and uses some of the bristles bunched together, and the lock clinks open. Ha! I'm great at this. I bet I could be an incredible thief if I decided to do that instead of art. Do you ever take the time to just sit back and acknowledge how great you are at everything you try to do, and how much you trust yourself to never fuck up when it counts? You hope that the question is rhetorical, because your honest answer is no. You don't have a whole lot of experience acknowledging how great you are at everything you attempt. Your mental acknowledgments lately have mostly been the opposite of that. Maybe it wasn't rhetorical because Ramil stays crouched down like that for a second, looking at you like she wants an answer. When you eventually come up with an awkward shrug, she stands up and puts away her makeshift lockpick, dusting off her hands and opening the door. I guess not everyone can be at my confidence level. Anyway, let's go. You follow her inside. Much to your delight, you see that this museum has an infrared laser beam alarm system. It looks so cool, just like in the movies, and you're back to being excited. Ramil seems into it too, bouncing on the balls of her feet next to you. Interesting, very interesting. One of us is going to have to get through these beams to disable the alarm. The box to do it is across the room there, see? But these lasers are so close together. You can see the issue. Ramil isn't that tall for a troll, but she might be too tall to maneuver through these beams. Even if she bends over, it's going to be tricky for her to squirm through them all without losing her balance and tripping the alarm. But the trolls that designed this alarm system didn't have your hornless ass in mind when they thought of potential intruders. You stoop over a bit to see if you'll fit, and sure enough, yes, you should be able to shimmy your way through these beams with minimal contortion. Fuck yeah, I knew I was right to bring an accomplice. Great thinking, me. And great high skills, you, if you pull this off. You recall what she said about confidence and trusting yourself to not fuck things up, and assure her that you've got this. You face the laser beams with your self-doubt shoved all the way down where it hopefully won't screw anything up for you. You take a deep breath and crouch down and carefully, so carefully, inch your way forward between the wires. It's the slowest you've ever crossed a room in your life, and there are a couple of moments when you teeter and almost lose your balance. You can hear Ramil hissing through her teeth behind you at tense moments, but you press on without looking back. And then you've done it. You've reached the box to disable the alarm system, and you... Have no idea how you're going to do that. All the buttons are labeled in an alien alphabet. Crap. Oh, that's right. I forgot you can't read. Press the one that looks like a meat hook, but with angry eyes. And then press the one that looks like a meat hook, but it's got beast claws. That should do it. That sounds bonkers to you, but you look back at the buttons, and her description of the letters were actually pretty spot on. You press the angry eyes and the cat claws, and the whole alarm system makes a soft shuddering noise and clicks off. You are thrilled. You did it. Who knew that doing something right could give you such a rush? This is just like the part of the heist where the heroes had to sweat for a minute, but then defeated the unforeseen wrench in their plan. You are certain that there couldn't possibly be any larger wrenches in your plan still to come. Ramil crosses the room to join you, giving you an appraising look with her hands on her hips. Not bad. Thanks for coming through for me like that. Now let's get what we came here for. There's one work in particular that I'm here to get. You follow her through the different galleries, passing through sculpture rooms and oil paintings, until you reach a display of pieces that look inspired by pop culture. The paintings and prints in here remind you a lot of Ramil's exhibit, and when you look at her, you can see that she's rigid, her eyes flashing and a passionate blue tint to her cheeks. I can't believe they called me the hack. Such bullshit. Whatever, it's cool. It doesn't actually bother me, I just need to send the message that they don't want to fuck with me. This painting right here is a direct rip-off of one of my early works. Back when I was naive enough to put my art up for free without realizing it would just get copied and someone else would get all the credit and profit. Well, I've learned my lesson. I'll take this so they can't sell it, rip off their rip-off, make something even better, and turn it over for a truckload of cash. She grabs the painting, and just when the two of you are ready to heist roll out of there, you hear voices at the back door and what sounds like a team of security guards coming in. They must have arrived to investigate the alarm system shutting down. You're ready to embrace your panic, but you stop hyperventilating when you feel Ramil's vice-like clawed grip onto your arm. Don't freak out. Follow my lead and we can still get out of this. You assume that the whole heist is off now that the security has shown up, but to your surprise, Ramil doesn't put the stolen painting back on the wall. She gives your arm one last reassuring squeeze before sauntering out of the room with her head held high, moseying with no hurry towards the front door. You follow her nonchalant lead as best you can. When one of the security guards stops her, Ramil gives him a condescending, slightly confused look. What are you even doing here? My assistant told me she informed me all the staff would be swinging by today to pick this up. Did you miss that memo? Give me a break. I'm sure it must be easy to miss things, right? Because as a security guard, you probably get so much important correspondence every day. Her four pupils somehow give her sneering eye roll extra sarcastic force. She yawns and with her free hand not holding the painting, flicks some non-existent dirt off her shirt. The security troll, a burgundy blood judging from the sign on his cop hat, looks uncertain and embarrassed. But I get it. I understand crossed wires. Since you're apparently too busy to do your job right, I'll catch you up to speed. I'm the artist behind this piece, and I've got a wealthy patron insisting in commissioning something similar. I'm taking this as reference in order to negotiate a better deal. There is absolutely no way these guys will buy her story. The two of you look so guilty, and you still have her yellow sash wrapped around your head, probably looking like an idiot with a head injury. But Ramil is staring down the guard like it hasn't even occurred to her that she might be questioned. You've never seen someone double down so hard on a story that is such transparent bullshit. If you want to waste more of my time and yours by calling your superior to verify, go ahead. He might not be thrilled that this mix-up happened because you can't keep up with your emails, though. The security troll was already wavering, and at the mention of his emails, he cringes. His co-workers behind him shuffle around, muttering to each other. He steps back, horns lowered in embarrassment, and waves you and Ramil through with a mumbled apology. You can't believe this is happening, but the two of you swagger out of the street through the front door, legitimate as anything. You don't stop until you've turned the corner to the next block. Then Ramil leans against the wall and laughs, holding the painting happily to her chest. Haha, suckers. Feels good to get away with things, doesn't it? It does feel good, you suppose. Mostly you think you're still reeling. How did she come up with a story like that on the fly? How did she guess correctly that the security guard wasn't some hyper-organized inbox zero kind of guy who'd never believed that he could have missed a message? Ramil gives you an odd look and reaches forward to unwind her sash from around your head and stuff it in her bag. I just winged it, man. You overthink things. My guesses are usually right because I'm a creative genius, but if we're going after him for emails hadn't worked, meh. I guess we'd have been arrested and then I'd talk my way out of that eventually too. Wow, you find it so hard to believe that she goes through life so easily with that kind of unshakable belief that she can improvise through anything. Doesn't she worry that it'll catch up with her someday? You want the long answer? It's this. Nope, I super don't. And if you still don't get it, I don't know if that's the kind of thing you can really learn. She picks up the painting again, looking down the street and away from you. Well, that was a successful heist. Now that I've ruined the competition, I feel inspired. I'm gonna take this home and paint. Wait, hang on. With a sinking feeling, you realize that she's getting ready to depart, and that this friendship might be slipping through your fingers. Sorry, kid. You seem like you're not totally useless at least, but I'm not one for long-term artistic collaboration. It's a lot easier to talk your way out of tight spots when you're on your own. Peace! You watch her go, your shoulders sagging with disappointment. You guys stole from a museum together, escaped together, bamboozled the cops together. You should have bonded over your shared transgressions and culpability. Every crime movie you've ever seen has taught you that heists bring people closer together, but cultural differences? Aw, that's kind of sad. Oh. Yeah, I wish I had that kind of confidence too. Huh, my stream seems to have stopped for... Okay, there we go. If only I had a tenth of that confidence. Okay. I think we've gotten all of Ramil's hinting out of the way, so now we can start with Conil. Conil? Let's go with Conil. Conil. Yeah. I don't know. Well, at least everything is being recorded locally, so the actual archive should be fine. Oh, this one is one of your faves? Both of your faves. Okay, well. Let's get into it then, shall we? Right now, your travels have brought you to what appears to be a normal road in an innocuous part of town. Not particularly upscale, but not exactly a rat trap either. Just pretty average. A row of those spiky purple bushes line up the side of the road, and behind one of them stands a large, fierce troll who is glancing furtively up and down the street. Okay, that's less average. Hey, are you her? Huh? I mean, are you her? Are you who I'm waiting here for? Well, your first instinct is definitely to tell her that yes, of course you're who she's been waiting for, provided she's been waiting for a new friend. But honestly, you aren't sure your shtick is going to work with this girl. Of course not. What was I thinking? This is so infuriating. She's so late, I'm so bored. Do you think she's coming soon? You don't know who she means, but you suggest that she might be more comfortable waiting somewhere that isn't in a spiky purple shrub. Don't be stupid. My clients value discretion. I have to lay low. The shrub hardly manages to cover her, and standing behind it and shouting is definitely not making her any less conspicuous. Neither is asking random passerby whether they are her client. Not that you can talk. Accosting people left and right and asking them to be your friend is kind of your whole deal. If you aren't Country Lady 453, then who is? Country Lady 453? That almost sounds like, sorry I'm late, I couldn't... What in tarnation? You'd know that genteel charm anywhere. Well, my stars! I definitely wasn't expecting to see you around here. What a masterful coincidence. You are incredibly glad to see Skyla, and Lady too, all unkidnapped and everything. You give Skyla a hug, which she enthusiastically returns. She nearly picks you up off your feet. Lady shoves her nose against your neck and gives you a few sloppy licks. Who the heck are you? I have business at this bush. Maybe find your own. Sorry, but I'm the business your bush has been looking for. Wait, what? You're Country Lady. The very same. The name's Skyla Corriga. Pleasure to meet you. Arg, I didn't think you'd be a bronze. I've gotten that before, honestly. Also, by the by, this concerns them too. She puts her hand on your shoulder. It does? It does? Sure enough. They were here when it happened, and they even helped me fight the varmints off who tried to take my Lucis. Right, yeah, you said something about that in your message. But I don't get it. What do you want me to do? Right, well, the bandits didn't get Lady, but other kids haven't been so lucky. Lowbloods have been hit especially hard. I want you to find the bandits' base of operations, and I want you to take them out. Permanently and painfully. Connell's mouth moves silently, like she's trying to reason through the steps of Skyla's conversation. Then she catches up, and a slow grin spreads over her face. Yeah, I like painful. And permanent. But wait, you want me to get revenge for someone else's Lucis? Why? Well, a few of us got together and decided to do something about it ourselves. Since there's no hope of the heiress or drones doing anything to stop the bandits. And they all elected me as spokestroll, seeing as how I'm the oldest and least easily shook. Okay, sure. I guess the why isn't important. How much you got? How much are you willing to throw down? I doubt any lowbloods could afford my fees. Let alone a bunch of country rusties. Lady starts to growl, and Skyla puts a pacifying hand on her head. Everything's fine, lady. We expected this, didn't we? We were hoping you'd be willing to do it out of the goodness of your blood pusher. Connell laughs so hard that she spits. Skyla winces. Ha 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 ha. You got a pan disorder. If you think I take any charity cases, I don't work for pretty smiles. Keep your compliments to yourself, missy. That wasn't... I didn't mean to say that out loud. Why don't you just go find the bandits yourself? You know full well I don't have the means. But you do. It'd be a walk in the recreation field for you. If you weren't so nasty and selfish. Or maybe you're scared. You! I'll show you scared. Oh hell, they look like they're about to throw down. You gotta do something to defuse the situation. I know people. You mentioned that you are important. A real mover and shaker in the Alternian economy. You have a bunch of amazing local friends. Some of them are rich, or have giant internet followings, or are just very, very enthusiastic about meat. The point is, you know people. Wow, that's really generous of you. Offering to leverage your friendship for my sake? I knew I didn't make a mistake trusting you. Well, that's a different story, I guess. Why don't you call up your fancy friends? Oh, fuck. You don't have a phone. That's... Oh, I like that. I like that ending. I know that's a bad ending, but I really like that one. Oh, goodness. I'm surprised I still remember how to do some of these voices. Like, I honestly wasn't expecting Skyla to show up again. I wasn't expecting it, but I think I also ship it, so there you go. What? I don't work on spec. I'm only licensed on Alternia. Just kidding, I don't have a license. You explain to Connell that working on spec means you're doing some work for free in hopes that you're going to be paid later. You say it's unlikely that the bandits only go after Lucy, that they would be totally ridiculous. That would be totally ridiculous when there's so many other things in the world to steal. Like money. They probably have just heaps of money in their hideout, and if she breaks in, she can have it all. Skyla doesn't want it, she just wants to save the Lucy. You are so dang convincing that you almost convince yourself. I'm not so sure. Sounds like you might be trying to fuck me over. You let out a scandalized gasp to convey just what an untoward accusation that is. You are shocked. Shocked. Fine. Anything to get away from this stupid bush. She kicks the prickly purple shrub so hard it uproots and sails across the street to land on the hood of someone's car. But you are coming with me. I'm gonna hold you to that. And if there's no money, then I'll hold you tighter and squeeze until your weirdly colored eyes pop out. Yikes. You believe it too. She could definitely do that. But here's your chance. You've got tons of success stories proving that forced exposure is really the best way to get people to like you. Sounds just peachy. When do we leave? Connell kicks at another bush. She seems to have an anger management problem. Well, you guess she is managing it. She's taking it out on the shrubbery instead of you or Skyla. We aren't doing anything. You aren't coming. Lady starts growling again, and Skyla looks like she wants to join in. Excuse me? Connell gets up in her face, moving way faster than someone her size seems like she should be able to. You aren't coming. You'll just get in my way. You're distracting. Skyla's mouth twitches just the tiniest bit. That is not what I meant. You keep tricking me. I just meant that you would probably stop to save some bark beast wigglers and get us all culled. Skyla crosses her arms and tosses her hair. Fine. I'm counting on you two. You figure that the information gathering stage of the operation is next. You've seen heist movies. You know how shit works. McConnell just shouts at someone on her palm husk for a while, then punches some coordinates into a car that you're pretty sure isn't hers. It takes you to the outskirts of the city, past long stretches of cracked concrete and urban sprawl. Not exactly the place you'd expect to find bandits who steal farm animals. You point this out to Connell. She tells you to shut up. So you do. You leave the car and walk the last few blocks. The bandits' operation is honestly not super impressive. It's a long industrial structure that looks more like a manufacturing plant than a den of thieves. Beside it is something much more impressive, a sleek black spacecraft. Not like yours. This is the Mercedes-Benz to your banged-up Chevy Malibu. Even before you crash-landed it, that thing was a hunk of junk. Oh, holy shit! Is that an adult? What, the ship? No, dingus! You follow her frenzied gaze and oh, right. The troll beside the ship is taller than anyone else you've seen here. Her skin a darker gray, her claws incredibly long. If everyone you've met so far has been a kid, wow. They all deal with stuff that even adults on your planet don't. Routine death, dismemberment, and like 4 different relationship dynamics. If there really are no mature trolls here, then where are they? Wait, hold up. You're saying where you've come from you live with adults? Yeah? You all live on the same planet? Sure do. Huh. Well, Well, maybe you're tougher than you look. Adults are terrifying. Come on, let's get closer. You and Connell sidle up close enough to the trolls to overhear them haggling over stolen goods. So far, the conversation is too general to tell if they mean the Luci. Damn, they must have globes of steel. Talking back to an adult? I mean, I am great at rushing in without giving it any thought, but I'm not a total moron. The two trolls appear to come to an agreement. They shake hands and heading back into the warehouse together. So what do you think? What should we do? Huh? You? Connell is the expert here. Yeah, no shit. For punching, I'm also good at slashing. But Astasia always does the thinking and the planning. He's the one with the I-beams and the big think pan. Don't tell him I said that. Please? You assure her you couldn't tell Astasia anything at all because you don't know who he is. Oh, right. Astasia is a frustrating bulge-lord loser who sucks so bad. Also, he's my mate sprite and we've been together for sweeps. He's supposed to be here, but he's off busy doing some dumb bullshit. So I need you to be the pants of the operation, okay? Please, do this for me. Oh dear. Well, let's see. Since there's no one around the spaceship that we know of, we might as well go there, I guess. Right? Right. Here's your chance to prove you're totally capable of making non-disastrous choices. You reason it would probably be best to check out the space cruiser while it's empty, since who knows how many people will be waiting for you in the warehouse. Yeah, that works for me. You suspect that Connell would have agreed to do anything you suggested, just as long as she didn't have to make the decision herself. What a mood. As the kids say these days, big worm. There are so many tough decisions in your life recently. You're worried that the spaceship will be locked and your great plan will be over. Your great plan is going to be over before it begins. And wow, I hit the button a little bit too quickly. Connell leads the way and you let her. You don't know what wild security measures a troll ship has, but you do know you don't want to find out. The inside is normal enough. Pilot's and co-pilot seat, a central panel covered in more of the squiggly Alternian language, and a bank of sleeping screens. Other than that, it is remarkably bare of any homey touches. Not like your ship, which, in your humble opinion, was very nicely decorated. You've got some pretty dope posters on your wall. More to the point, there is absolutely nothing of value here. Connell can tell also. There's no point in being here. This is just a cruiser. All the good stuff is definitely going to be inside the warehouse. Okay, fair, you have no idea what you're doing, and you are sick of pretending that you do. You wish you could just take a breather, honestly. The strange, compulsive desire for more friendship is still there, but you are pretty exhausted. Let's just... fuck. Oh wow, that's kind of forward, Connell. You aren't even at the friendship stage yet. Oh, calm down, you gigantic tool. I mean, oh fuck. There's an adult troll and we're definitely going to die. That's why I said the fuck word. Oh fuck, that is a big troll. Connell is pretty big. She's the biggest troll you've met so far. If someone fed you truth serum and put a gun to your head, you might even describe her as thick. This troll is fucking terrifying, and she looks pissed. Or maybe that's just how her face always looks. Those are teeth. Lots of teeth. Who told you two you could be in here? I didn't order any ugly wigglers. Who are you calling ugly? Connell immediately slaps a clawed gauntlet over her mouth, apparently remembering who she is shouting at. The adult troll growls. And you don't mean she sounds angry. It's not a husky, sexy metaphor. She really fucking growls, a deep, guttural animal noise. Staring into a pair of merciless cobalt eyes, you experience a pulse of crystalline fear. Blank and cold, you are pretty much constantly braced for death, but that doesn't mean you're looking forward to it. Instead of springing forward and rending you into pieces, the adult just stares you down. Damn, adult monster troll. Take a picture, it'll last longer. The last thing you remember is those blazing eyes. Then even that fades and you slip away. When you thrash back into consciousness, Connell is right on top of you, pinning you to the warm, thrumming metal of the spaceship wall. She doesn't look angry or scared or anything. Her snarling, expressive face is utterly blank. You say her name a couple times, but she doesn't twitch. She just squeezes down harder, grinding the bones of your wrists together. Someone is swearing. Oh, fuck. You strain to see around Connell's head. The adult troll is seated up at the pilot's seat, and the console is lit up. You realize that the thrumming in the walls means the ship is moving. You see the sickly green-gray of the Alternian night sky, and your stomach does a disorienting leap of mingled elation and dread. You can't believe you're actually going to space and finally heading somewhere besides this fucking hellhole of a planet. Of course, that's how you felt when you were first leaving Earth, and you have no idea where this troll is bringing you, and your new prospective friend is just sitting here like she's hypnotized. She only reacts when you struggle, and then only to slam you back against the wall. You just randomly fell asleep, didn't you? How the heck did that happen? The adult starts talking again, but she isn't talking to you. No, I'm on my way. No more delays, I promise. The loose-size shipment is on schedule. No, don't worry. Everything is... Sirens scream and screens flash. The ship bucks wildly like a sailboat hit by a wave. The adult troll's fingers fly over the consoles. No, what the hell? I don't know. It's like I've lost all control of the damn thing. Fuck! Connell's grip on you loosens. She pulls away and shakes her head back and forth, shaggy hair flopping into her eyes. What the hell? Where are we? She sounds small and lost. The adult troll doesn't turn around. She's too busy yelling at Mayday into her comm and trying to wrest control back of her ship. The whole thing shudders again, and yours and Connell's heads bonk together. Ow! The ship bucks again. It feels less like an engine failure and more like a gigantic baby is shaking it like a rattle. And you're scared, sure, but you're also awash in sudden and unexpected flare of understanding and competency, because this is the first time this has happened to you. Oh, this isn't the first time this has happened to you. This is exactly how you crash-landed on Alternia in the first place. You were just passing by, minding your own damn space business, when your ship decided it wanted nothing better to do than just snap its reins, toss its wild head, and head straight for the unfamiliar planet below you. You push yourself to your feet, trying to tame your nausea as the ship rolls. You grab Connell's hand and pull her across the compartment to a glowing green sigil on the wall. You don't know much, but you know absconding when everything starts falling to shit. Hey, what are you... let go of me! Absolutely not. If you do that, you will not be able to be friends with her, because she'll be dead. With the strength born of desperation, you pull her into the escape pod with you. We won't fit! You will, you do, but it's uncomfortable as hell. Craning your neck at a very uncomfortable angle, you manage to reach around Connell and press the big red button on the wall. An alarm sounds, and you hear the adult say, "What the?" before the door slams shut, and the escape pod rockets out into space. You shudder back down toward Alternia, Connell's weight crushing your delicate ribcage. Poor ribcage. You're surprised it hasn't sued you for damages yet. Wow, that sure was a shit show. Hardships bring people together, don't they? That's def a thing. Unfortunately, you judge from Connell's swearing and mothered death threats that this is not one of those times. Oh. Did we not land back on Alternia? Huh. Some people theorize that what's shaking the ship is Asdaj's psionics because he knows Connell is on there. It's good a reason as any, I think. Maybe we'll find out when we get to Asdaj's route. We'll find out. But for now, let's see if we can get the good ending for this. Here's your chance to prove they are totally capable of making non-disastrous choices. Here is no... Oh. I mean, just straight up chose the same path that I just did. I must really be tired. Maybe I should have picked a better voice for Connell. This is rough on my throat. Okay, follow the pirate into the warehouse. You decide to follow them into the warehouse. That way, at least you won't be trapped in a confined space if anyone comes back out to check on the ship. You get ready to do some James Bond-ass shit, ducking behind corners and saying, "Cover me," maybe executing some sick rolls down the hallway. You can't really do any gymnastics even when you aren't healing from broken ribs, but fantasy James Bond you sure can. Connell doesn't bother with any of that. She just stomps down the hallway towards the first door. Damn, she really hadn't been joking when she said she was going to the straightforward approach. You pick up speed to try and get to the door before she does, just to prevent her from charging in there and getting you both caught immediately. Good thing, too. Through the window in the door, you see what looks like some kind of break room. A couple of trolls are messing around on their palm husks, and a few more are sitting at a table and playing some kind of game that involves cards, dice, and little colorful shells. Oh, come on, there's not even that many! We can take them! Ugh! I forgot you weren't my partner and you're just dead weight. No real argument there. Polypa told you that the most pros work together for a reason. It's much harder on your own. You wonder if Connell would have been so hot to take the job if it hadn't been for Skyla's, vibes. Yeah, that's the word. Vibes. They were vibing. You have to do this. You have to rally. Connell is already losing faith in you. Or maybe she had no faith in you in the first place. Whatever. You choose different door at random and go down it, assuring Connell that you definitely know what the fuck you're doing. What? Where are you going? You've been down this road before. With Diamond and your meat quest through the sewers, this is possibly slightly higher stakes. But the same basic principle applies. Fake it till you make it. Connell gets annoyed much faster than your other friend, if her sub-vocalizations are anything to go by. Damn, you really need to step up your game. You think back on all the heist and infiltration movies you've seen. Maybe you can find a locker room or a troll laundry room and find one of those SWAT hazmat suits. Yeah, that would be the best plan. Just put on a disguise and wander around like a sneaky fuck and oh god damn it. You are so busy focusing on your brilliant plan that you open a door without thinking and find yourself looking at the trolls playing the card game. Somehow in your random quest through the warehouse, you manage to double back on yourself and come out on the other side of the break room. Classic. This is classic you. You're almost charmed by yourself. Almost. There's a frozen moment when all the bandits just stare at you and Connell, perhaps taking in the truly staggering idiot level you have achieved. Thank fuck! We should just have done this from the beginning! You've gotten into quite a few fights since arriving on this planet. Well, mostly you've stood around while other people fought. But the point is, Connell, she is brutal. She takes out almost the same number of bandits that you, Skyla, and Lady did in a quarter of the time. Multicolored blood flies. Oof. And God, you know these are bad guys. They've been stealing lucite and selling them, which sucks. But right now, they're kind of just a bunch of kids getting massacred. You don't feel great about it? In fact, you think you might need to sit down for a little bit. Your back hits the wall and you slide down to the dirty floor. You're clammy all over. Heh, pathetic. Connell puts her gauntlet out of the final troll's neck with a spray of yellow blood and a squelch that makes your stomach roll. She notices you on the ground. What are you? Are you serious? Come on! You try to tell her that she volunteered you for this mission herself, but you can't slow your breathing enough to get the words out. You aren't sure why now is the time you finally freak out. Maybe it's the close quarters, or maybe you've been on Alternia long enough for this multicolored mess to finally start registering as blood. Whatever, maybe you've reached your horror saturation point. Whatever. If you've learned anything from this experience, it's that the why of things doesn't actually matter. Connell looms over you, raising a gauntlet. She's gonna kill you. At least if you're dead, you can't puke on yourself. But instead of brutal stabbing, you feel a steady pressure on the back of your neck. Connell pushes your head down until it's between your knees. Take slower breaths, idiot. You follow her instructions, too lightheaded to dwell on the absurdity of being coached through a panic attack by a girl who just murdered like 10 dudes. She's surprisingly good at this. Heh. Daja freaked out his first fight too. Wasn't even bloody. And the little wriggler passed out. I guess some bloodcasts really are better built for violence. She sits down beside you and pats you on the back. You kind of wish she'd taken the bloody gauntlet off first, but you appreciate the gesture. You are having a hard time reconciling this Connell with the one who had snarled at Skyla for being too nice. I'm multifaceted. Also, fuck her. Which reminds me. She pulls her phone out of her pocket, smearing a little olive blood across the screen. Goraga, I got your bandits. She talks a lot louder on the phone than she does in real life. Yeah, no shit. Of course I work fast. Especially when I don't have anyone to slow me down with a bunch of tactics and plans. Ah! Save it for your Christmases. She hangs up and glares at the phone. You tell her she really does seem to be into Skyla. Connell's face gets a fierce shade of green. Don't be stupid. I barely know her. You don't press the issue. You also don't point out that it's kind of obvious point that these probably aren't the only trolls in the facility. The one who had been haggling with the adult isn't here, for instance. But if Connell forgetting about them means less murder, you're all about it. There's no way the bandits are continuing their work after this. Connell also seems to have forgotten about the fact that she came in here looking to be paid, and nope, she's looting the bodies. Great. It's a lot messier and takes way longer in real life than it does in video games. In the end, she ends up with 5 palm husks, a laptop, some jewelry, and some little squares of plastic you think might be sci-fi credit cards. Eh, whatever. There's barely anything here. But that fight made it pretty worth it. Well, you're glad it was good for somebody at least. You were just trying not to think about it and maybe get outside as fast as possible. Whatever Connell wants to do with your outstanding debt at that point, well, you can square it up out there. Yeah, don't worry about that. I'm not actually going to squeeze you. It would just be too easy. Like squishing a march bug. Fuck yes, saved by being pitiful. I doubt you have any money anyway. I mean, you are wearing an ablution robe. True. Connell helps you to your feet. You kind of want to ask if you're friends now, even though the only bonding activity you've done together is combined murdering and comforting, with her doing both of those and you standing there like a dumbass. But really, you've made friends with worse people for worse reasons. Oh. Here! Why don't you take one of these? She hands you one of the palm husks. Thankfully, it only has a little bit of blood on it. Actually, it might be mustard. Like the actual condiment. But she's giving you a phone? Why? You don't have one, right? I mean, you don't even have any pants. This way we can keep in touch. And you can tell me if you have any more jobs with an excellent violence level. Like this one. Here, let's exchange info. Palm husks are really useful. You can use them to call people and everything. You aren't sure if she's making a joke. Possibly she just thinks you're an idiot. That's okay, you can deal with that. Because not only did you make a friend today, you got a gift today. Holy shit, you killed it. Victory! We made friends with big, angry, mean old Connell. Yay! I'm so pleased. I will definitely let her know if I have any absurdly violent things I need her to do. Yeah. I agree. I really like the way she talks so angrily. Like, the emphasis on the final word is great. It's like that, that one character from that movie whose name I can't remember, and also the movie's name I can't remember. You know, that one. Yeah. So that's great. We've made 2 new friends tonight. We got friends with Ramil and friends with Connell. Fantastic. And yeah, that movie. So now that we've made our 2 new friends, I think that is going to be the end of Friendstream for tonight, for this week. We're going to be doing some more Monster Rancher 2 on Saturday at 4. Maybe something else if I'm not super duper sleepy like I always am. But yeah. Woo. More stuff in the future. Like I've said before, I'd like to stream a little bit more, but schedule just doesn't allow for it at the moment. But hopefully in the next month or 2, stuff will kind of clear up, and then we can do a whole lot more stuff. Oh, Carmine, yeah, you did just miss it. I'm sorry. But at least you didn't miss Monster Rancher, which is Saturday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Yeah. If I have the time on Saturday, I would like to start getting into Final Fantasy IX, because I know the longer that I put that one off, the longer it's going to take to actually get started. So yeah, we'll see how Saturday goes. Yeah, I hope you're there for that, Carmine. Your insight is very, very much appreciated when we play Monster Rancher stuff. So, plus, I just like for people to see how Bumcakes is progressing. Yeah. I'm excited to really give Final Fantasy IX a shot too. I had begun playing it a long time ago and only got maybe an hour or 2 into it. But I was really charmed with, the whole thing. And generally I'm not too into Final Fantasy, but that's one I really would not mind putting some time in on. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to start that up on Saturday as well, but I'm not making any promises. Yeah. But that's it for tonight. Thank you everyone for stopping by. The saved friend stream will go up on YouTube as soon as I finish editing it down and uploading it. It could be up tomorrow, could be up Wednesday, I don't really know, but we'll see. But yeah, in any case, thank you everyone for stopping by, and I hope you have a great night and a better tomorrow.